Welcome! Today I'm going to talk about this manga called Kaoru Hana Warintosaku, translated in English as The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. It received an anime adaptation recently, 13 episodes covering the first 40 chapters of the manga. But what prompted me to do this video were the last chapters currently released, because the manga is ongoing, let's say from chapter 175 to 178 at the time I'm recording this video. My goal today is talk about what kind of message the manga is teaching the reader. So this video will have spoilers. This discussion is both for those interested in a promale analysis, as the events will take place in a long time from the beginning, and for those who may have already read the manga and want to look back at what happened. I'll begin saying that this manga is not the perfect pro-male depiction of reality, as it has some problematic views, especially in the beginning, and I'll get to those later. But I still found it enjoyable, as escapism that doesn't bash men too hard and promotes some good models as well. But most importantly, the way it deals with female hostility towards boys is refreshing, and I thought it was interesting enough to make a video. So, Kaoru Hana Warintosaku, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. This is a slice of life manga, a romantic comedy centering around the school students. And as for the target, shonen or shoujo, this is considered shonen, so catering to boys, as it's mostly from the perspective of a male character, Rintaro, and deals with camaraderie, developing the relationships between his group of friends. But it's also kinda neutral between the two, shonen and shoujo, deals with romance and interpersonal relationships and can be enjoyed as unisex. The Japanese title refers to the names of the protagonists, Rintaro and Kauruko, and tells the story of how the relationship develops in a specific high school context, as the characters are from two different schools with tense relationships. Rintaro is from a school for male dropouts, Chidori, while Kauruko is from a female-only academy for rich girls called Kikyo, even if Kauruko is there from a scholarship. The first thing that the manga shows is how the girls from Kikyo despise the male characters while walking to school, with glares, snarky comments. They also draw the curtains between the buildings, and the boys just take it mostly. They are Rintaro and his three friends, who are first years, but then some other male students are introduced, and they are meant to be the bullies. This is the first problematic thing. The manga finds some other group of men to scapegoat. The protagonist works at a patisserie and one day meets Kaoru there. She got interested because Rintaro showed her kindness in a vulnerable moment. That's just hope that the anime is selling, but this is alright in the sense that there are worse things past for escapism, such as Kauruko gets harassed by the group of bullies that wanted to get to Rintaro, and he ends up taking a beating for her, and he apologizes and bow while bleeding from his forehead. Then he also punches himself another time for supposedly hurting Kauruko. That's nasty. Boys don't need to learn these things. I'd say this is the worst point of the manga, but from that it gets better, otherwise I wouldn't be making this video. Back to the story. There's this idealized romantic relationship between Rintaro and Kauruko, in which the girlfriend also acts considerate towards the boyfriend, which once again is cope, but at least this gives contentment to the male audience, and somehow teaches girls to give something back, as opposed to some more nasty anime where the girls just takes and acts entitled and rude, and get glorified for that. Meanwhile, in Kaoru Hana, there's an enjoyable story where the characters support each other and also grow together with their friends from both schools. The theme of hostility and prejudice is explored There's also the role of the father, which is a workhorse, meh, but at least he enjoys and connects to his son through his work on the patisserie, so it's also a positive model. Skip to the moment Kauruko's friends from school find about a relationship with Rintaro from Chidori. They are hostile and scared first. Then flashback to all the times the female teacher warned them about not to be involved with them. Then they decide to try giving Rintaro and his three friends from Chidori a chance out of love for Kauruko. And in the end, the boys win them over, as they realize they had been blind to prejudice, and these boys are just very kind people. So the girls end up apologizing to them. After this, Rintaro and the three boys from Chidori, Kauruko and the two of their friends from Kikyo, start to hang out and support each other. So the first thing I thought after this was the responsibility of this hostility from Kikyo the fault of the female teacher. There was this depiction that young women grow up being told to hate men, and in the meantime, the manga still scapegoats some other group of Chidori seniors that are violent and harass the couples at night. So I want to compare the story with what happens in the real world. First of all, I'm already surprised that the representation of the male perspective of the boys being treated like shit was even allowed. But while it's true that the feminist education the girls get at school plays a role in their hostility towards the male sex, it normalizes it, the truth is that female hate towards men was already there to begin with. And trying to find some incident that happened in the past is just excuse making and scapegoating of a different group of men. That's where the manga falls short. Of course, I will never expect the manga to tell the absolute truth, but maybe someday. Now let's skip to the last chapters at the time I'm recording, around 175. This time, it's the female teacher herself that finds out about Kauruko's relationship with Rintaro. Their friends join to help, and the boys also have an audience with Kikyo's principal, this teacher, and their own teacher from Chidori, which is another positive figure overall. Not only they manage to win them over, they also ask to work towards the undoing of the hostilities overall. This part has yet to come in the manga. But here's the point I want to discuss. They talk about the curtains, and this is what the boys from Chidori say. The girls from Kikyo are no longer scared of us. Now these curtains are a symbol of disdain. Well, not the exact words, but you get what the author is trying to paint. The girls were scared in the past, but these good boys of this generation do not deserve this hate. First of all of these mistakes of the past is propaganda, but I was really surprised to see this part that explicitly calls out the female hostility and takes this excuse away. They are no longer scared. Had to ruin it with a comment, you don't know what can happen when the next generation stop being this kind, gotta protect women. Everything has to be about them, not just that they have to stop because the boys are completely innocent no matter where you look. But still, I've taken a look at some subreddits. People are starting to call out undeserved hostility in real life as well. For a series that caters to young boys, and maybe girls too, this is something massive if compared to all the anti-male propaganda we have had this far. And this is still recent and ongoing, so I wanted to make my analysis discussing in details what is good and what is not. Hopefully the right message will reach more people. Thanks for listening.